Alright, if you're like me, you've been stuck at home for the last 4, 6, 8 weeks. You've had just about enough. Here in the Commonwealth, we've been on lockdown and are still on lockdown, so don't tell anybody. I'm sneaking out of the house and heading to the boat. Also, maybe you've noticed if you've gone outside, there's sort of this eerie quiet around everywhere, and Deltaville is no different. Alright, here we are making that last turn into Walden's Marina here, heading down the front drive, and there she is up on the hard. Let's continue our jailbreak and see what we're going to work on this week. Here on Rockjock, I have a lot of miscellaneous parts, nuts and bolts and whatnot that I try and keep on the boat. Now to organize those, I use these plastic parts bins that you see here that I got at Walmart. What I want to share with you today is the system you see for storing these in the forward V-berth underneath the shelf. So with that said, let's get started. The main part of this project is what you see here. It's actually a holder for the lids of your kitchen pots and pans. I got mine at Lowe's in the closet and storage aisle there. They cost about $9-10 a piece. And I found out that each one of these will hold 4 of the plastic storage bins. Next thing I did was I took 2 eye straps, through bolted them on the shelf like you see here, and leaned the back of it up against the outside hull, and it's ready to go. Here we are once again, the finished product. Now I'm going to put about 3 or 4 more of these up, one next to the other, so I can get all of my parts bins stored underneath the shelf. Before we get started on the hold down straps, I just wanted to let you know that I decided to paint this using the Rust-Oleum gloss white oil-based paint, which you can pick up at any hardware store. I got mine at Big Blue. So here are the hold down straps front and back that I designed to keep these jerry cans secured into their mounts. So with that said, let's go ahead and I'll tell you how I did it. So here we see all the components I used to make the straps. 1-inch webbing, 1/4-inch grommet set, and a plastic buckle release kit. Now all these are available on Amazon, and I'll have the links down below, so go ahead and click on them and make a set for yourself. Remember, when cutting your webbing, always use a hot knife so the ends don't fray. Next, install a grommet on each end of each one of your pieces, as shown here. Next, I pre-drilled the screw holes. This was just to ensure there wouldn't be any splitting in the wood. I used 1 hole on the back side and 2 on the front, as shown here. Here you see the stainless steel mounting hardware. I used wood screws and washers. Next, you're going to see the assembly ready to be mounted. And here it is, all mounted up, ready to hold those cans in place. Well, that's the updates for this week. But I did want to talk about a couple other things before we sign out here. Number one, in the next vlog we'll be covering I'm going to talk about the covers that I made for the jerry cans on the rack, so tune back in for that if you want to see that. Also, significant update here on the haul out. If you've been following along, you'll know that I had originally planned to splash down here any day. That's been pushed back another year. The boat has a Perkins 4154 in it, 1982 vintage motor. And if you know anything about those motors, they're pretty tough, pretty dependable, but there's no parts available for them anywhere. In fact, there's just a small place out of England where you can get some regular motor parts, some rings, some pistons, some bearings, part of the injectors, but you cannot get any of the marinized parts for that motor anywhere in the world at all. Also, if you know anything about Perkins, they tend to leak a little oil out of the rear main oil seal. Mine was getting pretty bad and needed to be replaced. My original goal was just to have that replaced with the one-piece solid silicone seal that doesn't leak. Well, in order to have the yard do that, they recommended taking the motor out. And my position was, if I'm going to pay to take the motor out and put the motor back in, and I'm still ending up with a 30-plus-year-old motor that I can't get parts for, I might as well take that money and put it towards repowering. So that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to be out of the water for, yes, another year as we repower. As of right now, my goal is to repower with the Yanmar 57 horsepower naturally aspirated motor. Originally, I had wanted to get the 75 horsepower turbocharged motor, but it's no longer available in the United States due to EPA regulations. So unless I can find one somewhere, I'll be going with the 57. Now, I am going to wait on purchasing that till probably close to the end of the summer. So I'm hoping that Yanmar will come out with an updated version of that. Because right now they have a 57 horsepower and then you jump to an 85 horsepower turbo. And that's a huge jump in horsepower and a huge jump in price. And that price is just too much for me to bear right now. So those are the plans. I'll keep you updated on that. What we're going to do is get the motor out of that engine room. We're going to clean it up, repaint it. I'm going to work on some rewiring in there. I'm going to put in those new parts I showed you for the bilge pump and some soundproofing. So all that's coming up this summer. So we're going to still be busy here, even though we're not getting back in the water. That's about a wrap for now. And also, I'd like to thank you all for stopping in as usual. Remember to like us on Facebook. And yes, click that subscribe and update button you see down there so you can follow us and see what's going on all the time. Thanks a lot.